What we let go to finally feel free. Japanese minimalism journey. Have you ever walked into your room and felt overwhelmed by all the stuff around you? Like your belongings own you instead of the other way around? What if we told you there's an ancient Japanese way to break free from this trap and find real happiness? Today we're diving deep into something that completely changed our perspective on life. Japanese minimalism. This isn't just about having fewer things. It's about understanding what truly matters and letting go of everything that doesn't serve us. We're going to share the exact journey we went through, what we struggled with, and most importantly, what amazing changes happened when we finally embraced this beautiful philosophy. The Japanese have been practicing minimalism for centuries, long before it became trendy on Instagram. Their approach goes way deeper than just clean spaces. It's about finding peace in simplicity and creating room for what actually brings joy to our lives. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's explore this life-changing journey together. Understanding Japanese minimalism. Before we jump into our personal story, let's talk about what Japanese minimalism really means. Unlike Western minimalism that often focuses on aesthetics and Instagram-worthy spaces, Japanese minimalism comes from deep cultural roots. It's connected to Zen Buddhism and the idea that less can actually give us more freedom and happiness. The Japanese concept of ma teaches us about the beauty of empty space. It's not about having nothing, it's about having just enough. When we first learned about this, it was like someone turned on a light bulb in our heads. We realized that all our stuff wasn't making us happier. In fact, it was doing the opposite. Japanese homes traditionally embrace this philosophy through tatami mats, sliding doors, and multi-purpose spaces. Everything has a place and a purpose. There's something so calming about walking into a space where every single item belongs there, intentionally. We started to wonder why our own homes felt so chaotic when we had so much more than we actually needed. The breaking point. Our journey really started during a particularly stressful time. We were dealing with work pressure, family responsibilities, and somehow our living space felt like it was adding to the chaos instead of providing peace. Every morning we'd wake up to cluttered counters, overflowing closets, and rooms that never seemed to stay clean no matter how much time we spent organizing. One weekend, we spent an entire Saturday just looking for important documents that had gotten lost somewhere in all our stuff. That's when it hit us. We were drowning in our possessions. We had boxes of things we hadn't touched in years, clothes we never wore, and gadgets we'd forgotten we even owned. The irony was not lost on us that we were stressed about losing things we didn't even really need. That night, we started researching different approaches to simplifying our lives, and that's when we discovered the deeper philosophy behind Japanese minimalism. It wasn't just about throwing things away. It was about understanding our relationship with material possessions and finding a way to live more intentionally. What we actually let go. The first thing we tackled was our wardrobe, and honestly, this was harder than we expected. We had clothes for every possible occasion, including events we'd probably never attend. Following the Japanese principle of only keeping items that spark joy and serve a purpose, we started going through everything piece by piece. We let go of clothes that didn't fit properly, items we kept just in case, and things that made us feel anything less than confident when we wore them. It was surprising how many clothes we owned that we didn't even like that much. We'd bought them on sale or because we thought we should have them, not because they truly made us happy. Next came our kitchen, which was probably the most eye-opening area. We had 3 different coffee makers, countless gadgets we'd used maybe once, and enough dishes to feed a small army. Even though it was just the 2 of us most of the time, we realized we were holding on to things because we might need them someday, but someday had been going on for years without ever actually arriving. Books were another big category. We love reading, but we had shelves of books we'd never read and probably never would. Keeping books we didn't connect with wasn't honoring our love of reading. It was just creating visual clutter that made it harder to find the books we actually wanted to revisit. We also had to face our emotional attachments to certain items. There were gifts we didn't really like but felt guilty about letting go of, souvenirs from trips that didn't bring back good memories, and inherited items that felt more like obligations than treasures. Learning to separate sentimental value from guilt was a huge part of our journey. The emotional journey. Letting go of our stuff brought up feelings we weren't expecting. At first, we felt anxious about getting rid of things. What if we needed them later? What if we regretted our decisions? There's something deeply ingrained in many of us that equates having more with being more secure or successful. We also had to confront some uncomfortable truths about our spending habits. Looking at all the things we'd bought but never used made us realize how much money we'd wasted trying to fill emotional voids with material purchases. It was like holding up a mirror to our consumer habits and not always liking what we saw. But as we continued the process, something beautiful started happening. Each item we let go of felt like lifting a small weight off our shoulders. We started to feel lighter, not just in our physical spaces, but emotionally too. There's something incredibly freeing about realizing you don't need as much as you thought you did to be happy and comfortable. The Japanese concept of wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection and impermanence, started to make more sense to us. We didn't need perfect, Instagram-worthy spaces. We needed spaces that felt peaceful and authentic to who we were becoming, not who we thought we should be. One of the first things we noticed was how much easier it became to keep our space clean and organized. When everything has a designated place and there's not too much stuff competing for space, tidying up becomes almost effortless. We started spending way less time looking for things because everything was visible and accessible. Our decision-making got simpler too. When you have fewer options, choosing what to wear, what to eat, or how to spend your time becomes less overwhelming. We'd never realized how much mental energy we were using up just navigating through all our possessions every day. With fewer distractions around us, we found it easier to focus on the things that actually mattered to us. Financially, the changes were pretty amazing. We stopped making impulse purchases because we'd become much more intentional about what we brought into our home. We also made some money by selling items we no longer needed, which felt like a nice bonus. But more importantly, we realized we needed much less than we'd thought to feel satisfied and comfortable. Our relationships improved too, which was something we hadn't expected. With less time spent managing our stuff, we had more time and energy for the people in our lives. Our home became a more welcoming space for friends and family because it felt calm and spacious rather than cluttered and stressful. How our daily life changed. Morning routines became so much smoother when we weren't navigating around clutter or digging through overstuffed drawers to find what we needed. Getting ready for work transformed from a stressful scramble into a peaceful way to start the day. We actually started enjoying our morning coffee more because we could sit in our clean, simple kitchen without feeling overwhelmed by visual chaos. Evenings felt different too. Coming home to a space that felt intentionally curated rather than accidentally accumulated was like giving ourselves a daily gift. We found ourselves feeling more relaxed and present instead of mentally noting all the things we needed to organize or clean up. We started appreciating what we kept so much more. When you're surrounded by fewer things, you naturally pay more attention to each item. That favorite mug becomes more special when it's not lost among 20 other mugs you never use. Quality started mattering more than quantity in every area of our lives. Even our social media habits changed. We found ourselves less interested in constantly shopping online or scrolling through endless product recommendations. When you're clear about what you actually need and want, marketing becomes much less effective at capturing your attention and your money. Looking back on this journey, we can honestly say that Japanese minimalism gave us something we didn't even know we were looking for: genuine contentment with what we have. It's not about living like monks or depriving ourselves of things that bring us joy. It's about being really honest about what those things actually are and letting go of everything else. The freedom we found wasn't just about having more physical space in our home. It was mental and emotional space too. Space to breathe, to think clearly, to focus on our goals, and to appreciate the present moment without being constantly distracted by stuff that doesn't really matter to us. If you're feeling overwhelmed by your possessions or just curious about trying a more intentional approach to living, we'd encourage you to start small. Pick one drawer, one shelf, or even just one category of items and see how it feels to apply these principles. You might be surprised by how much lighter and freer you feel, just like we were. What's one area of your life where you feel like you have too much stuff? Let us know in the comments below. And if this video helped you think differently about your relationship with your belongings, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content about living intentionally. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and we'll see you in the next video.